Let's speak now to our CNN political commentators, Alice Stewart and Amanda Carpenter, both with a long history of working in the Republican Party. You know, it's a moment to sigh, right? Because 4 months ago today, hundreds of people violently attacked the Capitol based on a lie. They attacked police officers. Many were injured. The president refused to call them back. There was a brief moment of bipartisan outrage at it. That's disappeared. And now Liz Cheney is on an island. She's paying a price for it. You know, Amanda, we talked under Trump, Republicans and Democrats, about the threat to the American democratic system posed by Trump singularly. But is the fact today that it is not him singularly? It's a party unwilling to accept a lost election.
You know what, Jim? After I read that op-ed, I stopped wringing my hands. I stopped sighing over this situation because Liz Cheney is moving into position to do something really good for the country and democracy. The most important part of that op-ed had to do with her push for the January 6th commission to get to the bottom of what led to that day. And that is an important trade-off because if Kevin McCarthy and the Republican leadership want to continue with this big election lie, then that just bolsters the need for a January 6th commission to set the record straight. And she can do this. She can pull together Republicans to help Democrats pass this in the House and the Senate. And I think that will do a lot more good than she could ever do working with Kevin McCarthy.
You make such an interesting and important point, Amanda, because what she called for, right, was no politicians of either party, current politicians, to be on that commission. And Amanda, you've made the point that she really wants actual honest answers, especially probing McCarthy and his conversations with Trump on that day and subsequent conversations, which reminded me of this exchange just recently with Chris Wallace. Let's roll it.
Has the president ever reached out to you since that report came out to discuss what you and he talked about in the January 6th phone call? And did you say to him, I can't because we're under oath?
No.
That never happened?
It's never happened.
And you would...
Never even close.
And if it did happen, you would agree that would be witness tampering?
Yeah, but never happened.
Questions like that, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, this goes beyond Kevin McCarthy. I don't want to say this is just about him, although he's an important element of it. There are a lot of things that Republicans in leadership positions don't want to talk about. How the Stop the Steal efforts in Georgia culminated in the riot that occurred on January 6th. All the attorneys general that were doing robocalls and pushing these efforts. I mean, this is really wide sweeping. I mean, there's new arrests every day where people are just suggesting that they're willing to talk more about this. You see Adam Kinzinger on Twitter this morning, pushing a letter from the Washington, D.C. police officer, Michael Fanone, who wants to talk about what he saw and what happened. And so you really have a lot of people who want to talk about this. And once this thing gets kicked out of Congress, once it passes, you are going to have so many Republicans with competence and experience who want to support this effort. I mean, this is rough. It's hard to watch what they're doing to Liz Cheney, but I think so much good is going to come out of it. And this is what real Republicans would do. They put their country first, they protect their institutions, and they restore the damage that has been done.
Amanda, I wish I shared. Amanda, I wish I shared your hope, Alice, because the question here, I wish, because the political incentives, and this is what I want to ask Alice about, are the opposite. It's pushing elected lawmakers in the opposite direction. I've had a sitting member of Congress, a Republican who I respect, a long history, military veteran, in fact, who told me after he voted to decertify the election results that if he didn't do it, he would lose his seat. 2/3 of Republicans voted to decertify the votes the night of January 6th. And since then, that feeling's gotten stronger, not weaker, Alice. And Republicans are confident, and Democrats, by the way, equally fearful that Republicans are going to win back the House in 2022. I wonder if the political incentives mean that this is baked for the party, right? Despite stands like Cheney's.
Exactly. Look, I agree with you, and I agree with Liz Cheney that the facts are the facts. The election was free and fair. Donald Trump lost. Joe Biden won. And there needs to be people held accountable for the insurrection at the Capitol. And many of them don't want to do so. I think all of those facts are true. The difference now is the focus has changed. The focus needs to be on firing Nancy Pelosi and winning the House in 2022. And unfortunately, with Liz Cheney putting so much emphasis, understandably, on her hatred and relitigating that hatred for Donald Trump and taking the focus off of what the goal is, which is
Alice, she didn't say hatred once in that piece. She said truth. She said he lost. And that's the thing that other Republicans won't say.
I'm telling you what members of Congress are telling me that are in the GOP conference. They are saying that it's not as much about her and what she continues to talk about President Trump. It is that the way she is in the conference, she is not building a consensus. She is more focused on the division within the Republican Party than the united front we need to have against the Biden administration. And it might seem laughable to some people, but her goal as conference chairwoman is to unite the conference. Her goal is to unite the conference, not to divide them. While I applaud her efforts to look to the bottom of what's happened on January 6th, her role as conference chairwoman is to unite the party. And if her goal wants to be on the January 6th commission, more power to her. But the conference deserves someone that is going to be there to unite the conference and win back the House in 2022.
Amanda, even if it's uniting behind a lie?
Yeah, this is the dumb, stupid tribalism that got us into this mess. The dumb, stupid tribalism where people can say, I will support Donald Trump no matter what because red team, yay, blue team, bad. I mean, this is why we got to break this up. And Liz Cheney is not going to sacrifice an ounce of her conservative policy beliefs because she knows how to put country first. National security, democracy, our institutions are what unite us as a country, as Americans, not getting behind a big lie and covering up for an insurrection because we wear a red hat.
Alice Stewart, why can't the party, before getting to issues of tax rates and so on, state simply, as a fact, Joe Biden's the president? I watched John Barrasso on the air wiggle and writhe. He just wouldn't say the words. He would say he is in the White House now. He wouldn't say he won. Why can't Republicans acknowledge that fact? It sounds like, I mean, will you acknowledge that fact? I mean, why can't sitting lawmakers acknowledge it?
I've said this from election night on. The election was free and fair, and when Donald Trump lost and Joe Biden won, he is the free and fair winner. I applauded him. I support him. He is our president of the United States. Why more Republicans don't acknowledge that, I don't know. But what is big and dumb and stupid, Amanda, is for Republicans to go back and continue to relitigate the past instead of uniting together on the policies and opposing
as it takes. As long as it takes, till people can look at the camera and say Donald Trump incited an insurrection and doesn't deserve to lead the Republican Party. There is no unity coming under the red flag until then.
Thank you.
The midterm elections need to be about policy and not about the past, and that's the only way that we're going to win is if we focus on policy.
I think protecting our institutions is a policy. I think when it comes to telling lies for people to get into the voting booth, that is a policy. I think when people ramp back voting rights based on big lies, that is a policy, and I don't agree with those policies. Maybe you do.
No, I agree with the big government policies of the Biden administration, and that's how the GOP united can go against that and take back the House.
There's no policy debates in Congress when people overrun it and climb the walls.
All right, ladies, if we didn't have to take
4 months ago today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to both of you. Well.